What up guys, this is Monkey Figure Reviews and today we are going to unbox the DXF Grandline Children Wano Kuni Volume 2 Buggy figure by BANPRESTO / BANDAI Spirits. Before we get started, let's take a quick look at the box first. Right at the front we have an image of Buggy as a kid over here during the Wano flashback. We have sort of the Jolly Roger of the Roger Pirates, but it's a more realistic style. And we have Buggy's name, we have the BANPRESTO logo, DXF logo, the series name, Grandline Children Bandai Spirits logo. This is the side view. We have another image of Buggy over here, different angle, and this is the other side, a close-up of his face, and this is the back. At the top, we have our white toy sticker here to prove its authenticity. As you can see, the box is brand new and sealed. So let's get unboxing. This figure is very simple. In fact, it just comes in one piece by itself and it has an additional base. And as you can see here, it's not necessary for him to be put onto the base, though he's a bit wobbly, so you might want to be a bit careful. This is how the figure looks like when put onto the base. First impressions, I gotta say, this Kid Buggy figure is a very simple one, so nothing really crazy in terms of details or anything. It's kind of in line with the Grandline series usually. Another thing is, when I first saw this figure just now, when I took it out of the box, I could immediately tell that the PVC material used on this figure is not the high quality ones. Just by looking at the color application, how the color sticks onto the PVC, you can sort of see that the PVC is sort of on the lower end quality. Regardless, it's Kid Buggy and it's a very unique figure to get. Let us take a closer look at the figure starting from the head sculpt. Character likeness, I think it is decent. To me, it looks like Buggy, so there's no issues there. And of course, he has that red glossy paint on his nose, just like how he usually looks like. The eyes, the eyebrows, the painting over there is decent. On the camera, you can actually see some minor black marks on the white areas of the paint. But in real life, I think it is still okay, especially if you look at him from far away. It is actually not obvious at all. For his mouth, there's kind of opening and shouting to his captain. And maybe the lower teeth, the painting is not the best. You can see that the line is quite patchy. Over here, you can see his ear, his blue hair. Same for the other side. His blue hair hidden underneath the hat. For the hat, I can see that the finishing is much more patchy. It is much more rough. For example, this area over here, if I put my finger on it and feel it, it almost feels like someone used a sandpaper to sort of sand this area. And at the same time, if you look at the paint, some of it has been rubbed off and is not fixed. So I don't think this is intentional at all. I don't think this is intentional shading. It certainly doesn't look that way. And of course, I can still feel it, and I don't think it is that good. It is sort of similar in other areas as well. Like here, we have a line. Luckily, it's at the back, so most people wouldn't see it. But even in these lines, these grooves in the hat, it looks like there's some sort of dust in them, like the dust from the sanding that gets trapped and it isn't cleaned properly. And the coloring overall on the hats also looks faded, like it's not distinct and colorful enough. Certain areas they did try to add some shading, like underneath the creases. It is not very obvious on camera, but it is there, just very light. But even though they added this, when I first look at the hats, it is just this patchy works that I see, and it's not good at all. I don't like it. Moving on to his body, he's just wearing this yellow and red striped shirt. So the lines fairly okay. Some parts they are definitely off or they don't look straight. But I think for the pricing on this quality, this is still acceptable. And of course, you can see the neck over there. His hands holding the binoculars. Details also not top quality, like the fingernails, they are not really sculpted onto them, which is kind of weird because some figures they manage to do it, but some figures like this, they sort of forgo such minute details. The binoculars is probably the most eye-catching part of this figure, thanks to the colors they've added. The glossy paints, like silver for the lenses, and you have this bronze color for the other metal areas. And of course it is brown in color, so I guess this is supposed to be wood. This is the other side, how it looks like. Very neat painting, quite clean compared to the rest of the figure. You can tell that they are definitely done by different people or different groups in the factory. Lower part of his shirts, we can see more creases, same for the back. This is how it looks like. The lower half, other than the purple waist sash, there's also the blue pants, and here the shading is very obvious, it is very distinct. They added some sort of lighter colors in some of the creases and folds. I think you can see them quite clearly, so I appreciate the added details here. At the back, not so much, so it's just mostly on the front. And right below, we have his legs, as well as those cute little yellow boots, with some darker shadings towards some of the folds as well, and towards the bottom. There you go, details wise, fairly simple, but decent enough. And at the bottom, this is how it looks like. The base is a very standard black base, nothing much to talk about. And at the bottom, we just have some sort of printing. The height of this figure from the bottom of his feet to the top of the head, that is around 14.5 cm, around 5 3/4 inches. If you want to add the base, just add another cm. Here I have Buggy next to Grandline children Shanks from the same series and King of Artists Roger. To me, this is a great display to have all three of them side by side. It is straight up from the anime, the manga. Scale wise, I think it is a decent fit. It definitely doesn't look out of place. Unfortunately for Shanks here, he doesn't really stand well without the base. Buggy is okay, as we've seen just now. So if you want to display them without the bases, I think you have to give a bit of support to Shanks. Here I have taken out some of my other POP mount series. This is Sanji, this is Darashi version Nico Robin. So you guys can do a bit of scale comparison between the two series. As far as I know, for Grandline children, their figures, they tend to be a bit bigger than a POP. So if you want them to scale exactly, I don't think it's gonna work. For example, if you take a look at this Sanji, put in side by side Buggy, you can tell that Buggy is a lot bigger. Then again, I believe Buggy at this point in time is much older than Sanji and Robin over here. So maybe end of the day, it works out well. Alright guys, that should be all I have to say for this figure. Overall, I think that this figure's quality is decent. For me, the worst part is just the hat. The finishing is just too patchy for my liking, but other than that, it's decent. It's kind of in line with how Grandline figures look like. But I would think that if you want to get this figure, or if you have already purchased him, it's most likely because it's a unique Kid Buggy figure. At least that's my impetus for buying him, because most likely we will hardly ever see a Kid Buggy figure again. I know they did it for Ichiban Kuji, but it's sort of in a different scale. But other than that, I don't really see it coming out anytime in the future. And ideally, you would want to display him next to Roger and Shanks, or if you do not have Roger, just Shanks, both of them will look good as well. There's also a new version of him coming out soon. They give him a more metallic paint in certain areas like the waist sash and maybe for the binoculars. So if you missed out previously, I think it's a great chance for you to get it. And most likely, it's probably gonna look better and costing about the same price. Okay, so as usual, let me know what you guys think in the comments section below about this figure. If you like my video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share them with your friends. If you're new here, you like what I'm doing, don't forget to subscribe and also hit the bell notifications button so you don't miss out on new videos like this. Thank you guys so much for spending your time with me. I will see you very soon. Goodbye.